Well, navigating insurance claims and understanding your rights can feel overwhelming after an accident, especially when Medicare adds an extra wrinkle to the process. Well, joining us with more on how the process works, what pitfalls to watch out for, and why having the right guidance makes all the difference, let's welcome attorney John Price with the John Price Law Firm. So glad to have you with us.
Thank you.
So this is something that I haven't even thought about before, but when you do use Medicare for your medical coverage, this does add just a little extra layer of complication if you should find yourself in an accident.
Well, a complication from the standpoint that whatever Medicare pays towards those bills that are related to the accident and to the trauma and to the medical treatment thereof, then you're going to owe some of that money back to Medicare, and they're very, very stringent about it. Back in the days as a young attorney, they weren't really fully on top of it. And as young lawyers, we would try our best to seek out that lien and make sure that it was paid. But a lot of times we just would not get any response. And at some point we just have to tell the clients, look, set some money aside because we tried our best.
Yeah. Then
at some point Medicare said, they said, well, you know, we're missing out on collecting a lot of money out there from these accidents that we should be due back. So they started getting on the ball with it, but they didn't quite have their collection system worked out. So then it just took a long time. You'd find the agency, you know, on behalf of Medicare, but it would take a long time. Now they're on top of it, and credit to them because it's only fair. You know, Medicare is designed to pay those bills for senior citizens, and from the original legislation back in the 60s. The purpose of Medicare is so that people don't go broke, you know, and lose their entire retirement savings years later in their life when they should be enjoying their golden years or senior citizen years, everything that they worked for.
That's right.
And instead now they're going broke because of medical bills. That's what Medicare is designed to prevent.
Now,
but we have to protect those liens. So as lawyers, we really have a really hard duty, very affirmative duty to really follow up closely on those liens on behalf of the client. The client has a duty too, with or without an attorney.
Right.
And lots of times the liability insurance companies can get stuck with it.
Well,
So they don't blame it on us if it does not done.
But I was going to ask you this, John, is, you know, what are some of the pitfalls if one tries to deal with those liens on their own without representation?
A lot of stress.
Yeah,
a lot of stress and making mistakes.
Yes.
And plus, if you have an attorney, the negotiation that occurs with Medicare, because you can negotiate the lien to be less than what Medicare is seeking. If you have an attorney and you incur what is known as procurement cost. In the situation of an attorney, a personal injury attorney who works usually on a contingency fee agreement at John Price Law Firm, we still go by the same contingency fee for pre-claims, for pre-litigation claims, as it was in 1959, back when I was born. The Charleston County Bar published a pamphlet and stated the fees would be 33 1/3%.
Right.
And to this day, that is still, for a lot of law firms, I mean, some may charge more, but we still go by the old standard.
Yeah.
But that's a procurement cost. So right away, you're entitled, if you have an attorney, to a 33% reduction off of the lien. And then after that, there's any other cost you had to spend on the claim, such as maybe, just to give maybe there's $50 you had to acquire where you had to get a hold of medical records to show Medicare that certain things were related, certain things were not. Whatever it may be, you add those on top, and then it comes down to the total procurement cost. In your standard case of a claim, you know, it's usually going to run somewhere between 35 and 37%. A reduction that you can get from your Medicare lien, which is more money into the to the pocket of the client.
Yes.
So it's really a good benefit. Clients should not be afraid. A Medicare insurer should not ever be afraid to use their Medicare.
So when a case does settle for a specific amount, what factors into that amount exactly?
What factors into the amount of the settlement? Well, I think you're asking me, like, what's the settlement based upon? And it's going to be on medical bills.
Yes.
The severity of the medical, the injuries, which can vary, which feeds then into lost wages, and also what we call general damages, which is pain, suffering, discomfort, loss of enjoyment of life, loss of companionship, just all the general mental, emotional, physical hassle that you go through when you have an injury. And of course, it's relevant to, the relevant factor is the severity of the injury. Now, one thing is senior citizens, who usually are our Medicare recipients, most senior citizens are going to have pre-existing conditions, usually related to their age, degenerative conditions. And very often the insurance companies will come out here and try to say, oh, well, Attorney Price, these are all pre-existing conditions. We don't owe you any money for your client. This is all hubbub and hocus pocus. And no, in most cases, the pre-existing condition has given them a situation where they're more susceptible to
so
injury.
So it's exacerbated.
It's
so
very
the
much
exacerbated.
And it may, in fact, let's face it, you get a little bit older, get a little bit slower, get a little more sensitive to these things.
But it doesn't mean that you're not injured.
It can trigger an asymptomatic condition.
Right.
What you may often see is a person may have a degenerative disc in their back, and it doesn't present any real problems. Maybe every now and then they have a slight little backache for a day or two, but nothing. And all of a sudden, bam!
Of course.
And that really turns into a different situation. And of course, too, as we age, not only more susceptible to injury, it may not otherwise cause a significant injury to somebody else who's younger and more fit in that condition, in that situation, but also it prolongs recovery. It takes longer to heal. Imagine that. You get older, you get a little easier to get hurt, a little longer to heal.
Yeah.
So, but that's nature. That's the way God created us. And
bottom line, though, people who do find themselves in this situation, they should contact you. They should contact the John Price Law Firm.
Well, yeah, definitely contact some personal injury attorney.
And you've been around for a long time too, so and you've got a great team of attorneys, right?
Yeah, I graduated from North Charleston High School in 1977.
All right.
But I'm getting around really good. We have some really young lawyers on there. We have some young lawyers on the team who don't have no pre-existing conditions.
Yes.
But I know about these pre-existing conditions. Got a few of them myself. But certainly that's where we can help, because the insurance company is going to look at that. They know exactly what they're going after as soon as they see the age of the client.
Yeah.
They're going to know exactly what they're going to be looking for when they get a hold of those medical records, and they're going to find it. They've got their medical guys on that side. They've got experienced adjusters. Every day, John Price Law Firm, we have 7 lawyers and 2 special counsel. But every day we go against the biggest insurance companies in the country, in the world, the same insurance adjusters and lawyers, insurance defense lawyers, that all the really big law firms go after.
Indeed.
And but we're small enough to be pretty nimble and big enough to care.
We're going to put the information on the screen, but people can also go to your website for more information.
Yes.
And who should they call?
They call John Price Law Firm at 843-552-7676. It'd be great. Or go to our website, johnpricelawfirm.com.
Perfect. John Price, great to have you with us. Thank you so much.
It's been awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be back after this.